As part of We the People, celebrating 250 years, here's this day in history.
Well, as we continue to celebrate America's 250th birthday this summer, we're sharing our We the People series, the people, places, and things of the past that have shaped our country to what it is today. What do you have for us, Delaney?
This day in history, it is the 24th of August. Back on this day, 1814, the British troops, they set the White House on fire during the War of 1812. British troops, they went to Washington, D.C. to burn the White House down after the U.S. attacked the city of York in Ontario, Canada. However, President James Madison and his wife had already fled to Maryland prior to the attack. Soldiers allegedly sat down to eat a meal made of leftover food from the White House scullery, using White House dishes and silver before ransacking the presidential mansion and then setting it on fire. Although President Madison and his wife were able to return to Washington only 3 days later when British troops had moved on, they never again lived in the White House. Madison served the rest of his term residing at the city's Octagon House. It was not until 1817 that newly elected President James Monroe moved back into the reconstructed building. That's your This Day in History for August 24th.
That's wild. On a weather note, I also learned that the fires were put out by some torrential rains the next day. And then when they rebuilt, they repainted the house white, solidifying the name the White House.
The White House that we all know, yep.
Very fascinating. Delaney, thank you.